begin today's game, we'd like to take a few moments and recognize our seniors that are closing out their collegiate careers. And we'd like to thank them collectively for all that they've given Cougar women's basketball over these past 4 years. We will begin with number 14, Crystal Core, accompanied by parents Michael and Janet Core, her sister Angelina, and her aunt Nancy Hay. Crystal is from River Forest, came here from Oak Park River Forest High School, and she is a broadcasting major. Over the 4 years, she has played in 92 games with 59 of them started, 759 points and 633 rebounds. Her highlights are a 23-point game at Marion in December of 2017 and a 17-rebound, 5 assists, and 4 steals game, all career highs against Rockford on December of 2018. She is a member of the NACC All-Freshman team in 2017 and an honorable mention All-Conference player last year. Coach Martin says of Crystal, her dedication to Concordia Chicago's women's basketball program cannot go unnoticed. Earning significant minutes in her 4 years at Concordia has moved her up the list in many statistical categories in the record books. She has been a terrific young woman to coach and mentor in my time here as head coach. She has a sense of calm. She is a leader, and her warm-spirited energy brings joy to her teammates, friends, and coaches. When Crystal smiles, she lights up a room, making it hard for us all not to smile. Crystal cares immensely for her teammates, and her genuine kind spirit has had a major impact on the teammates she has mentored and helped along the way. I'm thankful for the opportunity I had to coach her, and am super excited for her future, as I believe Crystal has the world ahead of her. Thank you for everything you have given to this program. Crystal Core. Number 5, Kayla Kohler, accompanied by her parents Joel and Jane Kohler, and siblings Jake, Cassie, Luke, and Tim. She is from Belvedere, Illinois, graduate of Rockford Lutheran High School, and an early childhood education major. Over her career, she has played in 47 games with 46 points, 10 assists, 13 steals. Her highlights are 5 points versus Blackburn in November of 2017 and against Marion in January of this year. Kayla is a 3-time conference scholar athlete. Coach Martin says, Kayla could quite possibly be the face of CUC. She is a natural leader with passion, commitment, love, positivity, hard work, strong core values, ethics, gratefulness, humility, and so forth. These characteristics and many more positive attributes that Kayla has exhibited are often traits we see people with the best character have. Kayla exemplifies what it means when you say that person has great character. In everything she does, basketball, schoolwork, friendships, captainship, persevering through obstacles and injuries, she gives her absolute all. There is never any let-up, any refusal, any attitude, any negativity. Kayla is a standout young woman, and as time moves on, we know that she has left her footprints for student athletes to follow. Thank you for all that you have given to our program. Thank you for the opportunity to get to know you. The Kohler legacy will live on. Kayla Kohler. Number 3, Annika Ray, daughter of Will and Caroline Ray. She is from Anaheim, California, in high school, and is a marketing and communications major. In her career, she has played 97 games. She is a 3-year starter with 400 263 points, 267 rebounds. Highlights are a 17-point game versus Marion on January 30th of this year, and 8 rebounds versus Alverno in November of 2017, and against Laverne in December of 2017. NACC is a 3-time conference scholar athlete. Coach Martin says, NACC has simply been the best at combating challenges, internalizing them, and not letting anything stand in the way of her goals. On and off the court, she has led by example and has come to be one of our team's best leaders. Her hard work ethic, love, and passion for the game are off the charts. However, her approach to everything else in life carries the same discipline and approach, and she is a top-notch student athlete. She has spent countless hours getting shots up and protecting her craft. I could not be more happy for Annika and the success she has earned here at CUC. Hard work always pays off, and I am confident that Annika has the whole world ahead of her. Thank you, Annika, for allowing me to have a role in your life and for everything you have given us. Annika Ray. Number 25, Michaela Thornton. Accompanied by her parents, Michael Thornton and Virginia Fleming, and also her grandfather, Alfonso Fleming. Michaela is from Oak Park, Illinois, Oak Park River Forest High School, and is a business management major. She's played in 96 games as a 2-year starter with 480 points, 140 assists, and 253 rebounds. Highlights include a 20-point game versus Aurora last year, 9 rebounds versus Marion in November of this season. She is a 2019 Conference Scholar athlete. Coach Martin says, MT was one of the first players to make an impression to me when I first got the job. She and I would have deep-rooted conversations that encouraged her to chase down the opportunities that were there ahead of her. MT has grown and matured into an extraordinary young woman. She earned the nod of team captain this year, embraced her role as the voice of this team's leadership. She also got after it in the offseason to improve her game overall. The leadership, hard work, and the effort has made me so proud. But where I am proudest of her is her focus in the classroom, as she has boosted her GPA in each of the last 3 semesters since I've known her. She is a complete young woman, and as she pursues her future goals of continuing her education and basketball career, she will have one of her biggest fans and supporters right by her side. Thank you, MT, for everything you have done for CUC women's basketball, and your teammates also thank you for all of your negotiations to get them out of Rummy. Michaela Thornton. Bethany Haney, daughter of Matt and Jody Haney. She is from Parker, Colorado, attended high school at Lutheran Wesleyan in Michigan, and is a secondary ed math and science major. Bethany played 3 years, 32 games before serving as student assistant coach this season. She is the president of Concordia's SAC chapter for the past 2 years, has been involved with community projects such as Feed My Starving Children and Cans Across the Conference, and she is a 3-time conference scholar athlete. A presidential honor scholar, she has been a math teacher's assistant, a chem lab technician, and member of Scala Cantora. Coach Martin says, what an honorable, terrific, intelligent, beautiful young woman Bethany is. Another face of CUC, Bethany has been part of countless organizations, events, community service projects, and so forth. She has been the point person on making these things happen. While doing all of that, she has the weight of rigorous academic programming, working 2, 3, and sometimes 4 jobs, and being committed to the women's basketball program. Bethany has been on this grind, literally bouncing from thing to thing for not just this year, not just last year, but since forever. Bethany sets the bar high for herself for excellence. Her self-motivation and independence sets her apart from a lot of other college kids. She rarely complains. Instead, she just continues to push through. She is proactive and takes it upon herself to provide me with stats, details, and suggestions to help in any way for this team. I'm eternally grateful for my daily notes of each and everything for practice and games this year, an absolute game changer. I have an immense amount of love and respect for B, and am so grateful for everything she has done to make my life easier and our team's lives easier. On behalf of others here in the gym, a big thank you, Bethany. You will be missed. Bethany Haney. And last but not least, Julie Jenkins. Daughter of Jackie Jenkins. She is from North Ridgeville, Ohio, from Lutheran West High School, and is a sports management major. Julie has worked with women's basketball for 4 years, 3 as a manager, and this year as the director of equipment operations and a student assistant coach. While at CUC, Julie has also worked as manager for the football team, has been a member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes leadership team, served as a Jumpstart leader in the summer of 2018, and has been a part of dozens of community service events. Coach Martin says, Julie is not just a manager. Julie is our everything. She is mature beyond her years, is dedicated more than the word dedicated can be, and has been a voice of reason in several coaching talks, suggestions with the doing what is best for the team mindset. When I was first hired, I was told that I better not let anyone take Julie. Football and men's basketball were both on the prowl, and that tip was one of the best tips I could ever have been given. Her role, although equally important to everyone else's, has made my job easier every single day. She does things before she has been asked. She offered amazing insight and feedback and went above and beyond the season with adding some more skills to her list by breaking down film, preparing scout, and being a confident young coach. When the opportunities popped up for her to coach this year in practice in JV, she was a natural. These moments made me so proud. The love that Julie has poured out into this program and school cannot be taken for granted. She is our everything, and we are so grateful for you. Thank you for every single little thing that you have done for us and for me. We love you, Julie. Julie Jenkins. And finally, Coach Martin says, I want to thank each one of our seniors and families for all of their support. I love these young women with all of my heart and wanted to say thank you for allowing me to be your coach. Every minute, every shot, every pick-me-up, every high-five, every good joke will always be in our hearts and memories. You guys are the foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for our Concordia women's basketball seniors.
So you can listen to us when we send it, so you can mute it. And then you can turn that floor off.
Good afternoon, and live from Geiseman Gymnasium on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. We've got women's basketball here. The Concordia University Chicago Cougars hosting the rivals division of Dominican Stars on Senior Day. Welcome on board our broadcast here. I'm Carter Gledhill. Alongside me is my partner, CJ Sellner. And CJ, we just got done with a big game in the men's side that saw the Cougars fall just short.
Yeah, the Cougar men had a real opportunity to come away with the win and keep their playoff hopes alive. Free throws came down the stretch. They couldn't convert on those, going 7 of 14 from the free throw line. Now this becomes a critical one when we look at the Rivalry Cup standings going forward.
Stars avenge a 104-64 loss earlier in the season. Cougars are now on a 4-game losing streak. The Cougars were led in scoring by Rashawn Amos and Zio Golding of 17 points, but enough of that. Tonight, we are focused on the women's game. That is going to be a lot of fun as we celebrate the seniors and the managers for the Cougars that have made a big impact. And the Cougars coming off a huge game against Rockford as they routed the Regions 81-53 behind a strong performance from Tara Hastings, 18 points and 4 rebounds. In action as well was Bailey Steinkamp and Charisma Robinson, both with 14 points. CJ, what do we have to take from that game?
You got to really look at when this team's going, it's going through Tara Hastings. But the one person I will touch on right away is Charisma Robinson. She's been in double figures 2 out of the last 3 games. Her ability to just play defense and rebound, her length creates a lot of problems. And when you look at this game, when these two teams matched up earlier in January, she was still developing that. I think that she's come a very long way in the last month, and I think that that's going to be a real key matchup for this Cougar team tonight. She's
been one of the leaders in the rebounding for the Cougars, averaging almost 6 a game, and she's really been aggressive. You've talked about the development. A lot of those Cougars on the freshman side have developed, and one in particular has been the freshman Tara Hastings.
Tara Hastings coming into tonight averaging 13.8 points per game. She started every game except this one when you see the seniors get their opportunity to start on the floor together. But, I mean, she had that career-high 29 points against CUAA. She had 18 against Rockford. If she can get space, which will be a challenge against a very athletic Dominican team today, that's going to be something that the Cougars really need.
And this Dominican team, it was almost the underdog coming into this season for the NACC. They're currently 16-7 overall, 12-6 in the NACC. They've won their last 2 of 3, 4 of 5, and it had a huge win against Wisconsin Lutheran on Tuesday, led by the 2-headed beast of Tamayo Ray and Alexis Hosen. Ray finished the game with 23 points, and Alexis had a near triple-double with 13 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. And so Cougars have a lot to handle with those two coming into Geiseman today.
And that's going to be a challenge defensively. It's going to really take a 5-person effort defensively. Help side defense is going to be a very key thing, and especially getting back in transition. You'll see this Dominican team wants to push the pace, and that's what the Cougar team, they got to get back. Shot goes up, you're going to see Dominican sending a person down the floor. If CUC's not making a conscious effort to get back, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
And part of that reason, too, is because of the rebounds that Dominican has been able to pull down, averaging almost 42 boards a game. And it's really been credit to the height that they have that the Cougars have been missing out. But again, you're going to see seniors like Crystal Core be huge factors tonight, as well as Michaela Thornton, who's been kind of quiet as of late for the Cougars.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup down low. You're going to have to rely on Core. Robinson's going to have to stay out of foul trouble and make sure she's getting good position underneath. One other thing I want to touch on with this Dominican side, they're still playing for a home playoff game. They're just sitting a game behind Concordia, Wisconsin with a couple to go. So there's a lot to play for on this Dominican side. So CUC with not as much to play for. But you know what? A rivalry game, you're trying to play spoiler as much as you can.
And you mentioned it too. The points in this rivalry cup is going to be huge as the men of Dominican took the first game. So a win tonight for the Cougars would even the series, but then a huge win for the Stars would give them an advantage going into the spring season. Just a reminder, Cougar basketball is brought to you in part by Lutheran Public Radio. Listen to sacred music anytime, anywhere at lutheranpublicradio.org or on the LPR app. With under a minute left in the beginning of this game, we're going to get ready to turn it over to public address announcer Jim Egan for the national anthem and starting lineups. This is Cougar basketball on the Cougar Sports Network.
For the second half of today's Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference basketball doubleheader, our women's contest between the Stars of Dominican University and the Cougars of Concordia University, Chicago. Let's meet the starting lineups first for the Stars. At guard, a 5'2" junior from St. Louis, Missouri, number 3, Stephanie Hubbard. At guard, a 5'2" junior from Rushville, Indiana, number 15, Alicia Barclay. At forward, a 5'9" senior from Hammond, Indiana, number 20, Tamaya Rowe. At center, a 6' senior from Haywood, number 22,
There you have it, the starting lineups for both teams. Just to recap on the Stars side, number 3, Huggins, 15, Markley, 20, Ray, 22, Burns, and 23, Hoskins. And then on the side of the Cougars, with 4 seniors starting today on senior day, you had number 1, Charisma Robinson, the lone freshman, number 3, Annika Ray, 14, Crystal Core, number 5, Kayla Kohler, and number 25, Michaela Thornton. CJ, we're getting ready to tip off here. What is one of your big tips for the Cougars win today?
I think CUC has to be willing to push the pace and really be able to move the ball, because this is the thing with this team. When they get stagnant, and you see it off the ball a lot of times when this offense has struggled this season, there hasn't been a lot of off-ball movement. So getting to that today is going to be critical against an athletic Dominican team.
Setting up for tip-off here is Charisma Robinson in the white jerseys for the Cougars. And in the blue for Dominican is number 22, Naima Burns. Retip here. Stars control the tip-off and ready to start as we get live from Geiseman in the first quarter of play. Setting up shop here at the top of the key is Huggins. Swings it back over after getting the pass from Burns. Getting ready, a good look there from Markley. Driving into the paint, meets Cougar contention. Kohler applying the pressure. And up and in on the missed shot there was Huggins. Rebound secured by Robinson. Robbins pushing up the court, giving it to Ray. And Thornton resetting the offense here under second-year coach Lauren Martin. Kohler skip pass over to Core at the top of the key, and you can see the ball screens being a huge part of the offense right now. And Core gets a look from the elbow. Wide right and rebounded by Hoskins.
This Cougar team's got to be careful, not riding the emotions of a senior day. That can get you going a little bit too fast and make some uncharacteristic shots.
And we've seen both teams starting to apply pressure here. Here's Robbins pushing up the court and gets fouled by number 20, Tamaya Ray.
They can get Ray in foul trouble. That could make a big difference in this game. She didn't have a huge game. She played 30 minutes in the first matchup down the street and had 13 rebounds, though. That's one of the big differences. This Dominican team in that matchup earlier this season had out-rebounded CUC 43-38. Second chance points were a big part of that game as well.
If you look at the starters right now, too, Ray is 5'9", and then Burns is 6'1", so she definitely has the height advantage over a lot of the Cougars. Robbins sinking the free throw. Cougars get on the board early. Here we go, chopping down to the Stars, and in the paint there is Burns. Layup is good.
Cougars got to make sure they're getting back in transition.
Stars setting up a full court zone. Robbins kicking it over to Kohler. Up at the top now is Thornton. Thornton looking to set up shop here, trying to find an outlet for pass, and finds it in Kohler. Swings it back over to Annika Ray, who's wearing the face shield after getting hit in the face in a couple games ago. And Core sinks a nice 15-footer for the Cougars.
Cougars doing a good job making sure they're moving off the ball here early.
Dominican setting up shop in the corner. You can see the Cougars are in a trap defense, applying the pressure here. Long shot there from Markley off the mark. Scuffle for the ball, and the rebound is pulled away by number 20, Tamaya Ray.
Again, she's going to be the main rebounder for this Dominican team. CUC's got to make sure they put a body on her every time a shot goes up.
Cougars trying to push pace here, and Crystal Core into the paint from the assist from Robinson. Regain the lead there is the Cougars. Markley on the side, met by 2 Cougar defenders. Swung over the top. Good ball movement here from the Stars, trying to break the zone of the Cougars. Huggins into the feed for Hoskins. In the corner there is Ray, and that's off. Thornton rips it away from the Stars and gets the ball. And Cougars are looking to push pace here. Robinson, wild pass into the corner for Kayla Kohler. Just off the mark there. But Robinson, a sea of defenders, pulls it away. You see Kohler there at the top of the key, kicks it to Thornton on the bottom, drives baseline, loses it, out of bounds. It's going to be the Stars' ball.
I like the aggressiveness trying to get to the hoop. You just got to be able to finish.
6:54 left in the first quarter. Cougars lead 5-4. It's been a fast-paced start here for both teams as we see both teams are going to a zone press at times. Into the corner there is Ray, getting trapped there by Thornton, and Ray breaks out of it, but gets it tipped out of bounds, and it's going to stay with the Stars. And checking in now for the Cougars is the freshman star that Coach Martin regards as one of the best players on the team, is Tara Hastings.
See how she can get in the rhythm. It's one of those things. She's used to starting a game and already being in a little bit of a rhythm here 3 minutes in. Now she's coming off the bench cold after 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Hastings averaging 14 points a game. That ranks 6th in the NACC conference. She had 18 points in their last game against Rockford. Huggins receives the inbound pass there at the top of the key. Swings it over from Ray and gets it back. Markley looking for the ball, but Ray in the bottom paint kicks it over, and Burns is fouled, but Thornton thinks otherwise as she thought she got all ball there.
I think a little bit otherwise as well. It looked like she had clean ball there. That's a big second foul right away on Thornton.
You see Thornton comes out now, and checking in is another freshman that's contributing a lot to the success of the Cougars on the offensive side is number 13, Bailey Steinkamp.
Thornton's one that plays nearly 24 minutes a game. It's one of those Murphy's Laws. You have 2 personal fouls. She probably won't see any more time till maybe late second quarter, so that's a lot of time without a key person in this offense.
Burns misses the first free throw, and the second's underway and is off as well. Rebound pulled away by Charisma Robinson. Drives it all the way down the court, just a bit off. Couldn't get back in bounds in time, and it's going to go down the other way to Dominican.
That's going to be so dangerous when Robinson really learns how to finish at the rim. Her length and her athleticism is just so hard to guard in transition.
She's got the same game plan, too, as well as Tara Hastings. She gets in transition. Both of their speed had been key factors as Markley chucks up a 3. And again, another rebound there by 23 Hoskins. Coming about second chance opportunities for Dominican. Contention there, ball scuffle on the ground. Bodies are diving and pulls away as Hoskins. Hoskins swings it up to the top. And in the paint is Ray. Ray throws it up and it sinks good.
Coach Martin is livid on the far side. I think there could have been a travel of 3 seconds. There were a lot of opportunities that I thought the refs missed.
Cross-court pass from Robinson over to Steinkamp. Steinkamp in, contested, and another foul called on number 22, Naima Burns.
I'll give Dominican credit there. I thought Burns came away with a clean block on Steinkamp there.
Steinkamp, one of the better free throw shooters on the team, shooting 89%, sinks the first one.
Cougars haven't forced a turnover yet. Actually, there's been no turnovers in this game regardless. Stars come into today plus 4.5 in the turnover margin. CUC plus as well, though they play a much different style.
They do, and you see in the Cougars, they play 2 kind of styles. One's good, one's bad. When they're slow, they're not as aggressive, and they're not as good on the offensive side. But when they're able to get their offense going, it's when they've been playing up pace. You can see they're a little bit too aggressive is number 1, Charisma Robinson.
She's got to be careful. You're already without Thornton. Be interesting how Coach Martin manages this. You don't want to take the aggressiveness out of Robinson at all, because that's what makes her so great defensively.
We also have bench reserves, though, too, that are good for Coach Martin. You got Jaylene Wade as well, who's been a key defender. And a good poke away there by Annika Ray. Ray pushing pace up in the corner and finds Steinkamp. Gives it to the post is Crystal Core, who loses it for a second, but then kicks it back up to the top of the key, where Ray looks to set up the offense. Steinkamp sweeps and drives, spin around, and doesn't get the shot up. We see Charisma Robinson setting up shop at the top. Throws up a shot and looks like to be blocked there by Ray. And she's pushing pace down the court. Kicks it out to the corner for Markley. A 3. Off the mark, rebounded by Core.
Markley now 0 of 3 from downtown. This Dominican Star team comes into today shooting 31% from 3.
Travel call there on Robinson, and it's going to go the other way. Checking in now for both teams in the white is Jaylene Wade. She will come in for number 3, Annika Ray. And checking in for Burns is number 21, Hannah Current.
Low scoring first quarter here. Dominican 3 of 10 from the field. CUC just 2 of 7.
And one thing that's surprising is the Cougars have only taken 1 3 in this quarter. Missed it, but usually this is a team that shoots the ball pretty well from behind the arc.
I'm okay with it because they're getting good looks inside. They haven't finished. I mean, you think of one of the Robinson ones that she missed. She had space, just didn't finish.
Rebound is lost up and thrown up there by Ray, but taken back is Robinson as she's trying to go up the left side of the court. 3:53 left to play in the first. Tied ball game in a low game of 6-6. Jaylene Wade is staying calm and collective up at the top of the key.
We've seen this at times. CUC's been okay at times when they've ran this offense when you slow the pace down. They have found success doing that in a couple of their wins this year.
Hastings looking for an open shot, not there, and Steinkamp mishandles the pass, and it's taken away there. And the Stars are able to take advantage, pushing down court into the lane, and fouled there is number 3, Stephanie Huggins, and she will go to the line for 2.
Cougars thought that might have been a jump ball there, but referees on the near side both had it that Wade came across the arm.
So with that said, the Cougars now have 4 fouls. Next one will put the Stars into the bonus. Stars only have 2 credited to them, and the first one is missed.
Stars a team that shoots 64% from the free throw line as a group. They're 0 for 3 so far today.
Huggins 65 on the season and makes the second one. And checking in now is another freshman that's proved to be well. And in the post is suggested, as you mentioned, with Thornton out, is Megan Long.
She was on the tough side of some calls against Rockford this week. She showed some frustration. I couldn't blame her when we were calling that game.
She's a great player. She got a lot of strength. They call her Megatron for a reason, and that's because of her aggressiveness. And you could see she's not built like your other players on the court. Hastings on the top is looking for Steinkamp, who passes it to Wade in the corner. Shot clock now at 6. Wade looking for a shot. Core taking a 2-stepper off the backboard, just a little too much, and the Stars gain possession on another rebound by Ray.
Cougars have not scored in over 2 minutes. They're now 1 for their last 6 from the field.
Stars still having those same struggles, 1 of 7 in their last 7 from the field, and Long goes to the court, and it looks like make contact with the cheerleader, but the ball's going to stay with the Stars.
I think a cheerleader might have just taken a Megatron pass to near the face. Dangerous on the north side here.
Checking in for Crystal Core's number 3, Annika Ray.
It's that one of those moments where your life flashes before your eyes as they hug on.
That's like the football player. And offensive foul called as Hastings hits the floor. And the foul for the Stars is called on Hannah Current with just a little bit too much of a shove to create separation.
That was actually on Ray. That's a big foul. That's her second personal. She has 4 of the 7 points for the Stars with 4 boards. Be interesting to see how Coach Amanda Parker decides to manage her minutes here late in the first quarter.
Ray leads all Stars on the season with 14 points a game. Only has 4 today. As you see Jaylene Wade getting in a scuffle for the jump ball there. And the possession arrow stays with the Cougars. Fans, want to remind you, close or far, Chicago Motor Coach has your group transportation needs covered. Chicago Motor Coach is proud to be the official transportation provider of CUC Athletics.
Talking about Ray's meaning to this team, she has 8 double-doubles this season.
And when you get a player like that, CJ, you've seen it plenty of times. Throughout the season, even with the men's guide, we've seen players like Rashawn Amos, Zia Golding. How critical is that for a team and their success?
Oh, it means a lot because that's where you're comfortable. You get teams uncomfortable. That's what every coach wants to do.
Off on the shot there was 23 Hoskins. Taken by Long, who's speeding up the court. No signs of stopping. Into the lane. Jump ball is called.
Possession arrow favors the Stars after that one.
And again, Cougars not being able to get anything going in the paint as of right now because of the Stars' contention.
Paint beyond the arc at the free throw line. I don't think it's really mattered at this point. CUC over 3 minutes, and that's been one of the downfalls this team offensively. When they've struggled, they've had some big droughts this season.
Curran gets her own rebound and puts it up back to the backboard, and the Stars now extend their lead to 3 with 1:53 left in the first. Ray swings it to Hastings in the corner for 3, just off the mark. And it looks like it's going to stay here as it was off the foot or hand of Hoskins, and the Cougars are going to get the ball. And checking in now for the Cougars is Madeline McGrath, as coming out as Bailey Steinkamp.
I really like what McGrath can do as a player. When she's running the point, she does a very good job. Not a huge stat line this year in her freshman year, but when she's in there, I really like the ball speed that she brings.
Long gets the ball in the corner and swings it up to Hastings, who drives through, and the small-bodied Hastings able to find the paint as she gets onto the board.
What a job dicing through 2 defenders there to end that drought for CUC.
CUC within 1 now. The Stars look for something going, and there's a foul called.
They're going to get Long for a hold underneath. Curran was trying to come around, and she got her arm tied up.
And now the Stars are going to the line for the bonus. So we've already seen the fouls play a decent role in the game. We've got Michaela Thornton sitting on the bench now with 2. Other players with fouls, Charisma Robinson with 1, Jaylene Wade with 1, and now Megan Long with 1. Only player on the Stars with 2 fouls is Ray, and she is going to be a huge part for this Stars team.
We'll see how CUC can take advantage of that here.
McGrath, a long pass to the corner for Hastings, doesn't pull up, and she looks to go in, driving across. Long beats the defender, swings it back over to Hastings. Doesn't look to shoot there. Looking to work the paint. McGrath into there. A little bit too much off the backboard, and the Stars are going in transition.
Cougars have done a good job getting to the rim. They just got to find a way to finish.
Capias loses the handle there, stolen away by Jaylene Wade, and Wade's looking to push tempo. 2-on-1, opposite or. Oh, just a little bit off as bodies hit the floor there. 23, Alexis Hoskins is down. She's all right getting back up here. If you see Stephanie Huggins slowing the ball down now with shot clock, game clock separated by 5 seconds. 20 seconds left in the game, quarter. And Current, another post point there. Stars now lead 13-8. Annika Ray with 11 seconds left. Pulls up from 3 and it's good.
There's a little bit of momentum late in the quarter.
5 seconds left. Let's see if the Stars do anything. Inbound it into Capersi. Up off the long half-court shot and just wide as Huggins. And that is how the first quarter will end. The Stars lead 13-11 after a quick resurge from the Cougars at the end of the quarter. We're going to take a quick break here. Fans, reminder, Chick-fil-A is a proud sponsor of Concordia University Chicago Athletics. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Chick-fil-A in Melrose Park has you covered. Chick-fil-A, eat more chicken. 13-11 is our score after 1 quarter of play here in Geiseman. We're going to take a break here, come back with the second quarter. Welcome back to Geiseman Gymnasium on CSN as we bring you coverage of the River Forest Rivalry Cup game between the Concordia Chicago Cougars and the visiting Dominican Stars. I'm Carter Gledhill. Alongside me is my partner CJ Sellner. And CJ, it was a little bit of a struggle for most of that first quarter for the Cougars. Brought it back of late, but they were struggling around the rim.
They are 2 of 8 on layups inside that restricted zone. They've done a good job getting there. They just got to finish.
As that ball's poked away by the Stars and taken down the court. McGrath reaches in and steals it away and looks to push pace as she sees Wade with a wide open layup. And good, and ties the game up at 13.
Great job by Wade getting out and recognizing that her team had gotten possession of the ball and getting out and finding an open area to get to.
Cougars on a 5-0 run in the last minute. A little miscommunication there on the Cougars side, and Current is another post point there, and she now has 8.
There was a lot of miscommunication there on the CUC side because nobody was even in the paint. They had 2 different options.
Little pick and another miscommunication, but McGrath in there to swat it away, and Wade's on the ground wrestling for the jump ball. Possession arrow stays with the Stars. But again, another opportunity for the Stars to score because of the miscues on the defensive side for the Cougars.
How about that 5'6" freshman Maddie McGrath getting back and getting the block?
And you mentioned how much she's not going to blow up the stat book, but you can just see the energy that she's already bringing. She's been doing a great job on the defensive side for the Cougars. As the ball's trying to enter it in the paint, poked away by none other than McGrath. She takes it up to Hastings, who's flying up the court and lays it in. And give credit to McGrath there for the great assist. 15-15 is our score.
It was actually Robinson that got the initial handle on it, but credit McGrath to being able to feed that forward. Hastings has got a lot of speed. You got to give her a little bit of extra lead pass on something like that in transition.
The 5'3" freshman out of New Lenox, Illinois, has been a huge factor in the Cougars' success. As you see another layup there for Dominican, extends the lead to 17-15.
Again, CUC's got to do a better job of guarding in the post. Crystal Core and Charisma Robinson got to find a way to get on the backside of Curran. She's getting too many easy looks.
Shots wide there for Robinson. 14 of the 17 points for the Stars have come into the paint. Only 8 of 15 for the Cougars. As you see, Wade presses high by the 10-foot line of the volleyball court.
There's a big mismatch on the near side. Hastings was trying to pick up Burns.
You see there, you're trying to switch around, and that's where you get a lot of the confusion. And into the paint again is Hannah Curran.
Curran coming in at 5'10", getting picked up by the 5'3" Hastings. CUC's got to do a better job when they're switching off these screens to not give themselves such a mismatch defensively.
Curran now has 10 points on the day. Core inside working, shots just a little bit deflected, and now Markley is pushing pace. Met by Hastings at the three-point line. And you see Hoskins driving in, Euro steps it in, and the Stars get another paint point, and the Cougars are forced to call a timeout.
Stars had just 26 points in the paint in the win when they scored 74 points. Well on the way to beating that mark already today.
So, CJ, we've seen Coach Martin and her style is a very aggressive defense, but the Stars have been able to take advantage of that today. If you're Coach Martin, what are you telling your players in the huddle right now?
Just got to make sure you're sound in your positioning defensively. CUC's gotten out of position. When you talk about those easy layups for Curran, you're getting Core and Robinson and even Hastings. They're not on the backside. Sometimes you want to front those, but they're getting too off the ball, and it's ending up in easy spots where you can lob it over, and a Big Ten 5'10" player is going to make those layups 95% of the time.
Hannah Curran has a game high of 12 points, 5 of 6 from the field. Tied for the Cougars scoring right now is Crystal Core and Tara Hastings with 4 each. Cougars only 6 of 19 from the field.
Curran already with the 12, as you said, has a career high of season high of 19, which came against Alverno back on February 1st.
Jaylene Wade looking to start something going for the Cougars, who are 1 of 4 in their last 4 drives. Missed pass by Core, half court, and over and back, and it's a turnover for the Cougars.
Core's got to see that. She had the screen there from Michaela Thornton, and then Thornton set a solid screen. If she kept going, there was going to be an opportunity to get around the corner there with the right hand.
Checking in now for the Stars is number 23, Alexis Hoskins, coming in for Stephanie Huggins. Cougars dropping into a zone defense, looking to throw something up, and a travel called on Burns as there was 3 white defenders in her area.
That's what CUC is going to have to do to really kind of change this game right now. They have to get back, and they have to be willing to collapse. Again, this Dominican team comes in shooting just 31.9% from 3. Be willing to shut down the paint and make them try to beat you from deep.
Tara Hastings back in the game for the Cougars. They're looking Robinson to set up a quick play there. Thornton at the top of the key. She's back in after those 2 personal fouls is something to watch out for. 10-foot shot there from Robinson, sinks it, and gets the Cougars going again.
That's big for CUC. I don't like when you settle for some shots, but you know what? If you're going to knock it down, I'm all for it.
Robinson putting pressure on the ball now as you see Hastings there on Markley. In the paint there is Burns, who swings it up to the top of the key there for Ballin, and she is hitting the three.
That's just her 9th made three-pointer this year. I'm okay with it. Continue to play your game in the paint, but it's really going to come down to the Cougars getting going offensively.
Cougars 3 of 6 from the field in this half, 35% as a team in the half. And you see a swat there out of there is Burns, and the Stars are pushing pressure, but good job by Robinson making sure that's not going to get the odd man attack. Markley for a three, just misses the mark. Tara Hastings in there, grabs the ball for the rebound, and the Cougars are pushing it the other way as Steinkamp sets it up in the corner. Dribbles over to Thornton, and Thornton looking to get to Coach Martin and get a set play going as we reach the 5:30 mark in the second quarter. Stars lead 24-17. Hastings, another block by Burns, and Hastings hard fall to the ground there, but tipped away by Robinson.
They got us do something. You can't express enough. The 6'1" senior Naima Burns is putting on a show in the paint.
Burns has 5 rebounds and 2 blocks already. And the Stars have the ball in the paint, looking over and looking to go right to Burns there. As Markley sets up shop and voids the zone, swings it over to Hoskins for 3 and just off the mark. You see Hastings in there getting a body on Burns for the rebound as Steinkamp brings the ball up now. Ray swings it over to Thornton.
Cougars are going to have to do something from extended range to try to force Burns out of the paint.
Weave plays there by the Cougars to Thornton in the corner for 3, just off as Core gets the offensive board and swings it up to the wrong team as the Stars get the ball from Hoskins.
Again, that was Burns who got her hands on it and deflected the initial part of the Core pass.
Both teams have 6 turnovers each, and the ball stays with the Stars. Coming back into the game now is Stephanie Huggins for 15, Alicia Markley. Coming in now is the senior captain for the Cougars, number 5, Kayla Kohler, for Crystal Core, who deserves a much-needed rest.
CUC just 7 of 23, and from the field so far, they're 3 of 9 here in the second quarter.
And Burns just picked up another foul there on an offensive foul.
That's a big second foul. Now you have the 2 of them that in two players with 2 fouls each, Ray and Burns. CUC is going to have to take advantage offensively. Again, see how Coach Parker wants to play it. If you're the Cougars, or like a Tara Hastings, I'm going right at Burns.
Thornton with the 3. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, don't listen to the commentators up here. Don't take it at her. If you're going to knock down a 3, knock down the 3.
There you go. Thornton getting it going with her first points of the day. And the Cougars crawl back within 4 with 4 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Steinkamp applying the pressure on the top of the ball from Hoskins, who swings it over to Balin, who's already had a 3 today. Entering there in the post, but a travel is called, and you can see the Cougar bench excited about that.
It was a great job by Kayla Kohler there, doing a job fronting, and it was an even better job of the help side defense getting in there to cause the travel. Because in the previous possessions, when Current's been able to get an easy layup, there hasn't been that backside help, and she wasn't expecting it.
Checking in now for the Stars is number 4, Alyssa Farner. Stars have been held scoreless for the last 2.5 minutes as Thornton enters the paint and swings it over. Passes just a little bit too hot to handle for Hastings, and another turnover for the Cougars.
Dominican's done a great job having active hands defensively, getting in those passing lanes, and it was another example of it there where Thornton had to throw it a little bit wide because she saw Star hands in her way.
Huggins brings up the ball and was able to swing it over. And now entering the paint there is Current. And again, Current having a day in the paint. She now has 12 points.
Current came into today averaging 5.6 points per game. She's just been nearly unstoppable. This whole offense has ran through her today.
And you don't blame her if you're the Stars. Keep feeding the post because it's been working all day.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Steinkamp with a nice crossover 3 in the corner.
She's another one that gets going. She can break down a defender just about as good as anybody can on this CUC team.
Cougars 3 of 4 from behind the arc in their last 4 attempts, and an offensive foul is called on number 21, Hannah Current. And checking in now for the Cougars is number 20, Madeline McGrath, for 13, Bailey Steinkamp. Cougars with the momentum coming their way now, only down by 3. And Madeline McGrath brings the ball up for the Cougars. Looks like the Cougars are running a set play as McGrath swings it in, passes it to Kohler, and Annika Ray now sidesteps a defender, loses the ball. Referee says it was deflected, and it will stay with the Cougars. 2:36 left in the second quarter. 14 seconds on the shot clock, and the Cougars have the potential to tie this game up with a 3 here. McGrath looks for Hastings in the corner, who swings it to Kohler. Kohler with the 3, just off the mark as the 5'4" Hastings fights for the ball and swings it back into Ray. Ray, the spin move was not enough, and the ball.
That was Kohler, I thought, deflected that off a Dominican player. I think the whole crowd saw what we did up here.
Nice little ooh coming over the crowd there as Jaylene Wade checks in for 25 Thornton. And the Cougars look to be applying pressure now and coming out as well as Annika Ray.
I like the idea here, 2.5 to go in the first half. Try to force a little bit of pressure. They haven't brought it. Try to get a little bit of frustration against Dominican. And
you can see Hastings with their speed applying pressure as there's a double team trap there in the corner from Huggins. McGrath tips the ball away, and it's going to stay with the Stars. You can see the pressure from the Cougars starting to amount.
Especially when you have no team fouls against you in this half, I would be ultra aggressive over this last 2 minutes.
Robinson back in the game and picking up at the top of the key and looks to drive in his 23 Hoskins and tipped out of bounds, and it's going to stay again with the Stars.
If I'm the Cougars, I'm getting into your man-to-man and telling everybody to get in the grill of every star on the floor.
But if we look at who's on the court, as you mentioned, you got Tara Hastings, Jaylene Wade, Madeline McGrath, Robinson, 4 of your best defenders on the team. So Coach Martin definitely using that strategy you pointed out. Balin to another 3 just off the mark, and Kohler pulls it away as Robinson looks to pace of play into the lane. And now a call is going to go to the Stars.
I would have liked to see Robinson when she got to that free throw line. She had an open shooter on the wing. That's one of the things of developing her as a basketball player, is realizing that she's got to keep her head up and see it, teammates on the corners.
And look who just scored again from the assist from Huggins is Current. Current now with 16 points on the day.
Again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, she's nearing a career high already.
Jaylene Wade misses the 3 off the mark, and in the corner, ripped away from Robinson was Huggins with the ball, and now foul was called on number 2, Tara Hastings.
I'm okay with that foul there. You didn't have anybody back in transition. It doesn't hurt. You're still plenty away from the bonus with 1:19 to go.
Checking in again for the Cougars is number 14, Crystal Core, as well as Bailey Steinkamp, as Tara Hastings and Kayla Kohler come out for a breather.
Current had just 2 points on 0 of 3 shooting in the matchup earlier in January.
But we've already seen both teams are playing a high-paced style of offense, but the Cougars just haven't been able to put it together at times. As again, Current into the paint again for 18 points.
I mean, CUC is going to have to do something differently.
Adjustment near halftime as we near 1 minute left in the quarter. 30-23 is our score here in Geiseman on senior night in Cougars. And Robinson with a spin move, and an offensive foul is called, and she does not like it. Foul is called on Robinson with 52.3 seconds left. The Stars will be inbounding the ball.
Robinson grabbing towards that right hip. I think she's going to be all right. Little pain going to the Cougar bench, but that's 2 personal fouls on her.
Hopefully she's all right as Hastings gets a misbounded ball in, floats it up, and looks like there was a block foul maybe there and not called, but pushing the pace is Huggins, who bounces in, and Core rips it away.
CUC having a lot of problems with Dominican's height trying to get to the rim.
And if that doesn't mean anything, Current's going to be one to mention differ, because she's been an absolute beast in the paint. Jaylene Wade brings it back to look to set up a play here. She drives into the corner for Steinkamp. Steinkamp reverses course and floats it off the backboard, and the Cougars pull within 5.
They needed that right there.
15 seconds left, no shot clock, as McGrath steals the ball and puts it in. Oh, no!
Again, CUC's troubles around the rim are really coming back to bite them, because if you take some of these missed layups out, they could be leading this game. That's a miss. There's been a couple just wide open bunnies that it's something you just got to calm your team down if you're Coach Martin going into the half.
And those missed opportunities have been something that's been a story of this team throughout the year. Whether it's been free throws or just these opportunities where you can't get yourself in the game. Foul was called on Madeline McGrath there, her first. Team's third with 9.7 seconds left. Stars are contested and have the lead by 5. Kicks it up to Balin. Balin passes an entry to Curran, but is tipped away by a Core. Core with a second left. Line driver is short, and that's how the half is going to end with the score 30-25. Fans, remember, looking for a place to relax following a big Cougar win, Doc Ryan's on Madison Street has all of your post-game needs covered. CJ, 30-25 is the score at halftime. What's one thing that is shocking you?
It's the points off of layups. CUC is 5 of 19 on layups so far in this first half. The Stars go 12 of 19. Attribute that to a lot of the Stars' height when their ability to block CUC and alter CUC shots. 7 first half blocks. It goes to say a lot of where CUC is going to have to adjust their game plan. CUC, not a team that takes a ton of jump shots, but they're going to have to find a way to adjust it or get some more movement and get these defenders out of the paint.
Cougars struggling of the field, shooting 30% as a team, 37% from behind the arc on 3 of 8. Dominican has been dominated by the post and Hannah Curran, who has a game-high 18 points, and 8 of her 9 have been going in, and she's just been an absolute force to be reckoned with if you're the Stars. We're going to take a quick break here as it's halftime in Geiseman. Scores 30-25 in favor of the Stars on senior night here in Geiseman. We'll be back in just a little bit with more Cougar basketball. Welcome back into live from Geiseman Gymnasium as I'm Carter Gledhill alongside me my partner CJ Sellner. In a first half, that basketball that started off pretty slow picked up towards the end of the second quarter, and now the score is 30-25 in favor of the Stars. CJ, it was a half that we've seen the Cougars struggle a lot with. It was more defensively. The Cougars weren't able to control Hannah Curran in the paint with her 18 points.
Yeah, she's just 1 point off a career high as a sophomore, 8 of 9 from the floor. They did a good job offensively getting going a little bit late in that half, but I mean, it's going to be finishing around the rim. I understand that Dominican has 7 blocks. I don't know if we have to start doing floaters or actually just pulling up from 10 feet, but that's going to be a big key to this second half because the Cougars have gotten open shots. It's now finishing those.
And on the Cougars' offensive side, too, no Cougars are in double-digit points, as the only high scorer for the Cougars is number 13, Bailey Steinkamp, with 6. But we've seen Tara Hastings only has 4 points. Charisma Robinson only has 3. How are the Stars able to stop them?
It's that length. And when you can run 5'10", 6'1", out there and just deflecting shots, size matters in the game basketball, and CUC is going to have to do something a little bit different here in that second half to take advantage of it. I mean, going into the half 5 points down, if you would have told me that this CUC team was going to go 5 of 19 on layups and down 5 at the half, I think Coach Martin would have taken that any day of the week.
Well, we didn't see Madeline McGrath had a missed layup at the near end of the end of the quarter. So Cougars, it's definitely a fixable way if you're Coach Martin and trying to get your team back in the game. Recap of what we've seen in the stat book: Cougars 30% from the field, 37% from behind the arc. The Stars 45% from the field, mostly credited to their dominance in the paint with 24 points of their 30, and are only 1 of 9 from behind the arc.
If I'm Coach Amanda Parker, I'm continuing to pound the paint. I mean, it's all ran through Current. Now you get Tamaya Ray and Naima Burns back into it, who had the 2 personals in the first half. It'll be interesting to see what this Cougar team does to counteract that. I think they went into that 1-3-1 zone, but you have to be so conscientious of help side defense and collapsing on that. Again, I said it in the first half, and I'll say it again. Let Dominican try to beat you from downtown. If they do it, good for them. But you cannot continue to let the Stars continue to run up the points inside. And it's kind of the same thing we saw when CUC took on Edgewood here a little over a week ago. Edgewood, I believe, ended up with almost 60 points in the paint.
Check starting lineup for the Cougars is back in for play, as that's led by 4 seniors, as Annika Ray brings up the ball at the start of the third quarter. Crosses over to find Korb near the block. Turnaround jumper just missed, as Hoskins brings it up the court.
The one way CUC can kind of counteract that size is turning up the pace of the game in transition. If the big players for Dominican cannot get back, they can't block your shots. So I think them trying to pick up the pace of this game is going to be a key part of the second half.
On the floor right now for the Stars is Ray, Burns, Hoskins, Huggins, and the leader of all scorers in this game, number 21, Hannah Current, with 18. As Thornton drives baseline, whips it around top to Robinson, jump stop, turn around to Thornton again. 10 seconds on the shot clock, push off, and they're going to call a foul.
I think they're going to get that on Ray, which she picks up a quick third.
And that's huge, too, because she's been one of the key factors in Dominican's dominance. Ray only having 4 points, the leading scorer on the season for the Stars with 14, as Thornton swings it over to Kohler. Ray shoots a corner shot, hits high off the backboard, and rebound by Ray. Coming up the court now is the Stars. Into the side is 23 Hoskins, who misses front iron with a rebound by Core.
We'll continue to get back, pack the paint, make them shoot it from out there.
Cougars 1 of 10 in their last 10 shots and looking to get something going here in the third quarter. Core in the paint, just a little bit too hard off the backboard, and another missed chance there with a layup for the Cougars. Ray in the corner now into the paint is Current with an awkward-looking shot contested there and rebound by Core.
CUC doing a better job collapsing there. That's what they got to do.
Thornton putting her thumb down to signal a play for the Cougars as they're ready to set up shop. Ray looking to get it going too. Kohler dribbling down as the senior captain looks for the other, and Annika Ray. Floater, up and in, and you mentioned it. Floater's going to be one way for this Cougars team to get back in the game.
Yeah, they're going to have to really thrive from 8 to 10 feet. I know they want to get to the rim, and it's a lot easier when you're making a layup from 6 inches away from the rim versus pulling from 8 or 10 feet, but they can't continue to let their shots get blocked.
Ray now has 5 points in the game. You see the Cougars drop into a 2-3 zone defense, trying to change pace, and that's what happens when you get the zone. Is the steal of Charisma Robinson is now a foul.
That's her third. Tara Hastings coming back in for CUC. She's one that I think is going to be a real key part to this second half, is getting her open and getting her to knock down some threes. That's when she gets going from out there, they can stretch the floor a little bit and make Dominican defend a little bit more outside of the paint.
So Robinson checks out of the game with 3 personal fouls. Hastings and Long come in, and miscommunication there in the corner. Ray, uncontested 3, nobody within 5 feet of her.
Yep.
It happens, and, it's one thing that the Cougars got to fix. With Ray, hook shot there is missed off the backboard, and securing the rebounds is Burns. Burns has been a force to be reckoned with today. It's 5 rebounds and 2 blocks.
Ray, with that last 3, hit her 12th of the season. She's now 12 of 49.
And Thornton finds Core streaking up the court, in, and a layup there. And the Cougars are able to get it going and down by 4. 7 minutes left to play in the third. As Ray gets the ball on the wing and swings it back over to Huggins. Huggins looking for something in the paint to Curran or Hoskins. And Curran, and 1. Curran having a career day now with a new career high of 20 points, and she's going to the line to make it a possible 3-point play.
Thornton just can't get caught on her back hip like that. Then Curran did such a good job coming around there and getting that edge with her lead right foot, and there's nothing you can do as a defender when you're stuck in no man's land.
And the size playing a huge factor in this game already, as Curran makes it a 3-point play, and the lead extends to 7 for the Stars. Largest lead of the day for them, as Thornton brings it up, and Tara Hastings speeding past the defender, looking for Crystal Core. Steinkamp, the quick guard, looking to pull a shot there, but doesn't see anything. Entering the paint is Core, spins around and is fouled, and there's another foul on Burns. Burns is now going to be there with 3 personal fouls.
That's what CUC needs to do, especially trying to keep those 2 off the floor, but they're going to have to stop Curran.
So now you have Burns and Ray with 3 personal fouls. The only other foul to be recorded by the Stars is on Hannah Curran. And to the line is Crystal Core.
If I'm Coach Martin, I'm sending either Hastings or Steinkamp to try to get into the paint. I understand you've been blocked 7 times, but it might be worth a little bit of an extra try to go after Burns or Ray here to try to keep them out of this game.
Core sinks both free throws to bring the Cougars within 5. As Huggins brings the ball up, is met by Crystal Core with the ball pressure, tips it, but the Stars regain possession and enter to Ray. Ray in the paint, swings it to Huggins, who goes to the top. Little miscommunication there, and the ball's on the floor and ripping around. It's going to be a jump ball, and it's going to stay with the Stars. And you can see all jerseys realizing how important that possession is going to be.
How about the vision by Stephanie Huggins at the top? That was an absolute dime she dropped inside that you weren't able to keep a handle on it. But Stephanie Huggins is one you got to keep your head on a swivel, because she's going to find every little passing lane she can.
Huggins step back into the corner. There is Hoskins for 3, off the mark, and rebound by Hastings. Hastings looking for an outlet and finds one in Steinkamp. Steinkamp to Kohler, who enters it in the core and falling down, sees herself. Steinkamp to the corner to Long, who throws it up just off the mark. And the ball is going to go down to the Stars on the missed shot.
CUC now just 3 of 9 shooting from downtown. A lot of threes. Neither team shot well from downtown, but that's going to be a key part of the CUC offense, I think, going forward.
Long not afraid to pull the long ball, shooting 53% on the year. You see a swing around pass in a 2-3 zone, and there's going to be a foul called on the Cougars in number 5, Kayla Kohler.
I didn't see what happened. It was off the ball. It was as Ray was trying to come off a screen underneath.
Team's third, Kohler's first, and an inbound pass there is blocked, and Hastings picks up the loose ball. Lobs the pass up to Core, deflected off the hands, and Long is there, and another missed chance for a rebound. Core with the offensive rebound, and it's poked away by Hoskins.
Great hands there.
Hoskins with the bounce pass to Huggins, in there, and Long ripping it away, and the ball is going to go to the Cougars.
Jump ball, give it back to CUC. I wish it was one of those things with Hastings. Everybody saw Core. That pass was about 2 seconds too late because Core had about 2.5 steps on everybody if she was able to throw it forward.
Cougars have been struggling as of late, 1 of 4 in their last 4 shots. Kayla Kohler staring down Ray as Hastings gets the ball and swings it up to Core. Core strong into the paint and gets in there and sinks it.
That's the one player for the CUC team that can really counteract the size. Core playing about as hard as you've seen her play all year on senior night.
The senior is showing out tonight with 10 points, 5 rebounds, and rims out there for the Stars with a one-handed save. And another offensive board there for Hoskins as it looked like Kohler was struggling to get up.
Kohler was on the floor. Core and Hastings were both well outside 15 feet.
Core, go ahead. Core gets the ball. Now it's Hastings. Hastings took a cross dribble to Kohler. Steinkamp putting the 2K moves on and just off the mark. And the Stars are looking to attack the other way, and a foul is going to be called on Crystal Core.
Core has matched her season high with 10 points. She had 10 points back in the win on January 30th against Marion.
Checking in for the Cougars is number 3, Annika Ray, and 22, Jaylene Wade, as Core and Long will take a break on the bench. 4:24 left in the third. Cougars have been able to hang around the Stars with a score of 38-33 as Steinkamp gets the steal. And a missed layup there on another fast break. And CJ, you're shaking your head.
You just got to finish these. What a pass there, though.
It seems that the Stars have been able to excel in the fast break, and the Cougars have been struggling this game.
And CUC's done a good job. They forced 16 Dominican turnovers, but they have 13 points off the turnovers. With the missed layups that they've had, it should be a lot more than that.
4:10 left in the third quarter. 40-33 is our score. Fans, Chick-fil-A is a proud sponsor of Concordia University Chicago Athletics. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Chick-fil-A in Melrose Park has you covered. Chick-fil-A, eat more chicken. Full time out here in Geiseman. We're going to take a quick break. 40-33 is our score in the third quarter. Back inside Geiseman, it's 4:10 left in the third, and CJ, you got pulled up on your computer right now the shot sheet for both teams, and 2 very different stories we've seen on the offensive side.
Yeah, CUC has made just 1 basket around the rim here in the second half. We talked about it. They were 5 of 19 in the first half. They are now 1 of 4 here in the second half.
And the struggles continue for the Cougars, but it's not too severe as they're still down by 7 in the third. Kohler swings it to Wade at the top. The 3 is just short, but Core able to get around Current there for the rebound. And the Cougars get a fresh 20 on the shot clock with Jaylene Wade calling to her teammates to get the ball. Annika Ray wearing the face mask enters the post, looks to spin around, underhand shot, and a foul is called on Tamia Ray, and that's going to be Ray's 4th.
It's a big call right there. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. I thought Ray did a pretty good job of staying straight up right there. But that's a big call in this game. 4 personal fouls for her. But the thing is, if you're a Stars fan, they've done it pretty well without her tonight. This whole offense has ran through Current. Ray with the 7 points and 7 rebounds. But it'll be interesting to see how the Cougars can attack this Stars team now.
Stars haven't really had to utilize Tamia Ray that much. She leads the team with 14 points a game. As Annika Ray made the first and looks to sink her second, and she does.
It's a big this last 3.5 minutes here in the third quarter, I think, are going to be a key part in determining this game for CUC. I'm not saying you have to take the lead here in the last 3 minutes, but you can't let it get more than 5. You don't want to have to really play from behind so much in the fourth quarter.
And a shot goes up there by 15, Markley, and the ball is going out of bounds and it's going to go to the Cougars.
Markley having a tough day shooting, now 0 of 6 from the field. She came into today shooting 36% from the floor, so just a tough day here in Geiseman for her.
Cougars with the ball, 3 minutes left in the third. Entering pass from Kohler is tipped away from Ray, and Markley entering down the court. Into the paint, charging in there is number 24, Alessandra Capusi, and it's going to be going to the Cougars.
That's a great job by Kohler, staying straight up and holding her ground. CUC's done a good job on the defensive end here in the third quarter. Dominican just 4 of 12 from the floor.
Stars have turned the ball over 17 times this game, Cougars 10. But the Cougars haven't been able to capitalize as well off the steals as we've seen in past games.
CUC's got to do a better job with their spacing offensively. It's the last couple possessions. Steinkamp and Kohler have ended up in the same spot.
And again, another tip away there. And bringing it up is Hoskins, who finds in the side Huggins with the 3.
That's just the third 3 of the day for the Stars.
And it definitely shows that they're not afraid to shoot the 3 even with their struggles. With Steinkamp looking at the top of the key, crosses over, charges in, is met by Hannah Curran, who stops in her tracks and falls down. But the Cougars have continued to struggle, now 1 of 6 in their last drives. Huggins from long range and just off the backboard pass to Wade, and Wade is bringing it up and finds Hastings. Pulling the shot quick. High rebound there by Steinkamp, and a foul is called.
I think that's what this CUC team has to do, is really try to push the pace of this game right now, especially when you have a player like Ray on the bench. Burns is not on the floor right now. You got to push the pace up this game a little bit.
Huggins was calling the foul there, her first, team's 4th. Steinkamp is going to the line now to shoot 2. Sinks to the first. Steinkamp, one of the best shooters on the team, 89% from the free throw line.
Cougars have done a good job from the free throw line so far tonight, 7 of 9 as a team.
Stars on the contrast have been 4 of 7, and Steinkamp sinks to 7. 43-37, minute 40 left in the third. The Cougars are still hanging around in Geiseman on senior night here. Huggins with the ball and was swinging it around, makes its way to Markley and enters the paint to the high of Curran. Curran's shot misses, offensive rebound, and she sinks it in. Hannah Curran now with 25 points on the night.
I think there was a little friendly fire between Steinkamp and McGrath.
McGrath's layup rims out, and pushing tempo the other way is Huggins, who crosses over Steinkamp and kicks it to the corner. 4, Markley off the mark. Tipped away there by Steinkamp and is able to corral by Hastings. It's a 2-on-1. Oh, contact in the paint, and a block is called, as it looks like it's going to be on number 15, Alicia Markley.
That's a good take. It's an aggressive take there by Hastings there, and that's what this CUC team needs. They need to get her going.
Crystal Core checks in for the Cougars for Steinkamp. Also entering the game before was Madeline McGrath and Macy Klein. Macy Klein seeing her first playing time in this game.
I'd like to see this Cougar offense try to extend a little bit. Ray has taken just 1 3. She's one of your top 3-point shooters. I'd like to try to get her going around the perimeter a little bit here over the last minute to beginning of the fourth quarter.
Here we go. Stars under a minute to play in the third. Bringing the ball up. Hastings applying the pressure, forcing Hoskins to the left side. Huggins with the top of the screen. And now Markley with the ball. Cougars staying calm as you see Core bodying Curran in the paint, not letting her get in there. Huggins swings it around to Markley. Markley drives in, met by Core, and a foul's called. And she's going to line for 2.
That's tough when you defend fantastically for 28 seconds and then get a late foul call like that.
Shot clock will reset to 30. 30.2 seconds left on the clock. Markley, a 76% free throw shooter on the year, sinks the first.
The last CUC field goal came at the 5:10 mark. CUC, again, they're 3 of 15 here in the third quarter shooting from the field. They've been able to knock down some free throws in the quarter to keep them in it. But in general, CUC's got to find a way to get some movement going offensively.
Stars now have the largest lead of the day with 9 points as Macy Klein gets the pass from Thornton. Thornton gets it back from her. And a screen by Ray. Thornton drives to the lane. Up, and there it is. Michaela Thornton doing what you mentioned is something the Cougars should struggle with is the layup. 5 seconds left in the game. Huggins looks for the top of the key. Markley looking for contention. Swings it over in the corner. And it just rims out there by Hoskins. And the Cougars are hanging around in Geiseman. And as the score is now 47-40 entering the fourth. CJ, seen a little bit of change in the Cougars in their offensive style in there. But in order to keep their success going and close this down, what are they going to have to do to adjust?
They're going to have to get somebody like Michaela Thornton going, somebody that has a little bit more length and size and strength to battle down low with the size and athleticism of the Stars. I think in this fourth quarter, we got to see Charisma Robinson get going a little bit. And on the Stars side, you've got to keep running through Current. I'd make this Cougar team stop you. They haven't stopped you in the paint all day, and it's obvious. 25, almost over half your points have come from one player, and CUC has not done a good job of it. If you're the Stars, I'd almost try to get Ray and Burns moving around inside and make some more matchup problems.
32 points in the paint for the Stars, and like CJ mentioned, Hannah Curran's been the storyline of this game with 25 points. Cougar basketball is brought to you in part by Lutheran Public Radio. Listen to sacred music anytime, anywhere at lutheranpublicradio.org or on the LPR app. We're ready to start fourth quarter action here in Geiseman. A fresh 10 is put on the clock, and the Cougars are looking to try to come back on senior night and take a game away from the Stars.
Dominican trying to win their 5th out of their last 6. As we said a little bit in the pregame, Carter, this is a team that has a lot on the line. They're still playing for a home game in the playoffs. They can clinch a spot here with a win today.
On the court now, as you see in your screen, number 1, Charisma Robinson only has 3 points today. It's part because she was sitting on the bench with her 3 personal fouls. Cougars in a zone defense, enters in, and nice little move there on the side was Hoskins, but again, Stars are taking advantage of the paint.
CUC's got to do something differently. You got to slow that team down in the paint when the team is shooting just 3 of 17 from downtown.
Cougars' offensive struggles continue. 1 of 7 in their last 7 shots. Haven't hit a 3 in the third. And Robinson gets the ball, trying to body down Markley. Throws one off the backboard, hits low. And there she is. She gets it back. Markley bringing the ball up and swings it to Huggins. In the corner there is Capusi, and her shot bricks off the top. And an offensive rebound there by Hoskins. And another missed shot. Hannah Current from the free throw line is a little bit too strong, and Anna Correa takes the ball.
The rebounding difference is becoming a big story in this game. Now 42-28 in favor of the Stars.
Michaela Thornton's shot is off the mark, and a jump ball is called. As again, Crystal Core in there is trying to grab every rebound she can on her senior night.
Core now with 6 rebounds and 10 points. She's been the real only consistent one offensively. She's 4 of 9 from the floor. CUC is going to have to find the 3-point shot here in the fourth.
Checking in now for the Stars is Balin and Burns. Burns with 3, and Michaela Thornton keeping it off where she was with another layup.
She did a great job coming off the screen on an inbound play. A lot of times players will just kind of nonchalantly go through those plays. She took that one real serious, made a great cut at the free throw line and made her way back.
And Charisma Robinson steals the pass, and up and in is the layup. As you can see, Charisma Robinson doing what she does best, leading the team with 63, now 64 steals on the season.
That's what she does best, and that's when this CUC team becomes very dangerous.
Cougars have a little bit of the momentum. Balin to the corner. Her shot hit off front iron, and Tara Hastings in a track right now. Kicks it over to Ray. Ray stops and looks for the shot, but Thornton is resetting. Ray with the three. Yes! And the Cougars pull within 2.
Got to get it moving to Ray. She's 2 of 2 from 3. It's been that defensive pressure that CUC's put on, and just like that, they're right back in it.
Cougars on a 7-0 run in the last minute and 45 seconds. As you can see, the energy in Geiseman start to pick up. Balin takes the ball on the left side. Entry pass into the paint and kicks it over to Curran, who lays it high up, and she silences the crowd in Geiseman.
CUC's doing a good job. They got to continue to force outside shots for the Stars.
Stars shooting 3 of 19 from behind the arc, so definitely something the Cougars can take into effect. Thornton looks to drive and kick to Robinson, who hoists it up, and hers is way off. As the Stars are now taking the ball down the court. 7 minutes remain in the fourth. Cougars been able to add a little bit and slim the lead of the Stars to now 4. Entry pass deflected by Core, and Ray is pulled away with it. And Michaela Thornton, who's been strong in this half with the shot fake. Ray, and in was a block there by Burns with 3 on the day now.
I would have liked to see Ray just pull up from 3. That's what your game is. That's what you're known for. Don't try to get into a lane that's so congested.
As Cougars were able to stop Hannah Curran this possession, and we get it to Ray on the top. She drives in, spins around, and gets fouled. Foul's going to be called on number 3, Stephanie Huggins. That's her second, team's first of the quarter. And checking in now for the Stars is number 20, Tamika Ray. She has 4 fouls, and that's something, CJ, that the Cougars are definitely aware of.
CUC's, I like their aggressiveness where they want to get to the hoop, but certain players like Steinkamp and Ray have to understand when you have an open look for 3, you're too good of a shooter not to take those shots.
Ray and Burns for the Stars have 4 and 3 fouls, as the shot there was way off from the Cougars.
Robinson's got to be a little bit more patient with your shot selection. There's too much time in a 2-possession game to take shots like that.
Ray hoisted up a shot, and a foul is called there on number 23, Alexis Hoskins. That's her first of the game. So Cougars sitting pretty right now, only down by 4, but CJ, it's not something that's good.
CC's just got to continue to move the offense. They've done a good job here early in the fourth quarter. I'd like to see Steinkamp and Ray kind of patrol that 3-point line.
As Crystal Core, her layup is blocked by the rim. Oh, and kicked out of the way there is Robinson.
I think if Coach Haney Paul for the women's soccer team needs somebody to take a penalty kick, Robinson might be your person.
That was fired off the wall there.
That was an absolute missile.
You see now Coach Martin telling the Cougars to get into full court man-to-man. Applying pressure is something the Cougars need to do. Little handoff pass there to Huggins, and she blows past 2, now 3 Cougar defenders. She slows down and is met by Robinson, but Huggins sweeps it over to Ray. And in there, getting her own rebound was Burns. Burns on the ground now, and the ball went out of bounds, and it's going to be the Cougars.
It was an athletic move. She just wasn't able to put the finishing touches on it. But again, CUC over these last 5 minutes really need to start limiting some of these offensive boards. That was nearly a big play right there where the Stars could have expanded their lead again.
Both teams struggling in the fourth quarter right now. Stars only shooting 20% from the field, Cougars 33. As we near the halfway mark in this quarter on senior night here in Geiseman. Tara Hastings almost pulled up from 3 but didn't. She's been relatively quiet today.
Credit Stephanie Huggins. She's done a fantastic job facing up against her.
Thornton step back three, just a little bit too much, and Crystal Core mishandles the rebound, and it's off her leg, and it's going the other way. Annika Ray picking up Huggins over the half-court mark, and you can see the Cougars now getting ready to do some trapping defense that they were accustomed to a lot of the time. Entering it in there was Ray to Balin for a long two, misses, and an offensive rebound by Huggins with the reverse layup is just too much, and Steinkamp gets the rebound.
Neither team has scored in over 3 minutes now.
Steinkamp looks to enter to Core from the free throw line and is blocked by Burns. That's her 4th on the day.
That's 10 team blocks for the Stars. CUC Core just didn't have that space. She's not one that shoots a very high jump shot from her release point. Her release point is more around the neck and chest area. It makes it for somebody that has a length like Burns, that becomes really tough.
So Core gets called with a foul. That's her 3rd, so she'll go to the bench. Coming in is Charisma Robinson, and the officials are now discussing whether it was a shooting foul or it was on the ground.
They're actually going to move the shot clock to 20. It was early there. I don't quite understand why you would go to 20, but that's the way it goes.
Long pass entry in there for Tamaya Ray. And Huggins gets the ball and backing up, pressured by Steinkamp. Man-to-man for the Cougars as Thornton switches and picks her up. Reaches over and, she's not happy with that, but a foul is called.
She kind of came over. Huggins had her on her hip. It's one of those 50-50 calls. Most of the time, I think when you're coming over the side of somebody like that, you're going to get called for that foul. Coach Martin's obviously not happy with it, neither is Thornton. But that's what CUC is dealing with.
So Crystal Core got a nice 15 seconds on the bench until she checks back in for Thornton. Thornton with 4 fouls now, and shooting free throws is Stephanie Huggins. Huggins missed it. 65% on the season from the charity stripe. But makes the second.
Ends over 3-minute drought for the Stars. CUC coming up on 4 minutes without a basket.
Crystal Core, the senior, taking leadership of this offense. She ties a game high with Annika Ray, the other senior, with 10. Steinkamp swings it over to Charisma Robinson. And Hastings with the step-back entry to Core, who gets the vision of Robinson. Long, awkward shot there from Robinson, and she's getting up, holding her back. But a block shot there by Ray, but Markley's there to get the rebound.
No Cougars were back there to really stop that from happening. They all were kind of looking at each other. Somebody needed to get back in transition.
Ray with the drive. Ripped away there by Ray, but she steps out of bounds.
That was just impressive, how she ripped that one away from Ray.
So Jaylene Wade will check in for Robinson. Robinson came out, and she was holding her side there as we saw her take an awkward fall of a shot on that last possession.
It could be a little bit of that. She's gotten beat up a bit today, but also that some of that's just pure frustration with how the game's gone.
She only has 5 points in this game, and playing with 3 fouls, there's not much you can do as a player. Hastings with a step-back 3, misses the front, and a foul's called on Steinkamp as she charged into Ray, but I think Steinkamp got the worst of that one.
I think she did too. CUC needed the 3-point shot, but they haven't gotten it going. They're just 1 of 8 here in the second half.
So nearing the end of the third in this game with 3:23 left, it's going to be important for the Cougars to start applying the pressure.
You're running out of time, and with his offense that's been really stagnant here, 7 points in the fourth quarter. They had the last field goal came on that Annika Ray 3, which came at 8:02 remaining in the fourth.
Cougars are only 4 of 16 from behind the arc anyway this game.
Stars got a timeout in before that ball got loose.
Huggins is a little shaken up there on the court. It looks like she's struggling with one of her legs. We'll take a timeout here with 3:17 left on senior night in Geiseman. The score is 54-47 in favor of the Stars. Closer far, Chicago Motor Coach has your group transportation needs covered. Chicago Motor Coach is proud to be the official transportation provider of CUC Athletics. We'll take a break here in Geiseman. Welcome you back inside Geiseman Gymnasium here as we're ready for the River First Rivalry Cup in a game that's been tight and has been up and down for both teams. I'm Carter Gladhill. Aside of me is my partner, CJ Sellner. CJ, it's been a long time since we've seen any points go up on that scoreboard for the Cougars, and their shooting struggles have continued.
Yeah, as we were saying right before the injury, the last basket came from Annika Ray on a 3 with 8:02 remaining in the fourth. Since then, the Cougars are 0 of 9 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3. Three-pointers have not fallen for either team tonight. When you look at it, combined, the two teams are 7 for 37. So that has not been it. Down the stretch now, you're getting into crunch time if you're the Cougars. You really have to up the pressure. You have a couple fouls to give before the double bonus. That's what you have to do.
So Hannah Curran enters the game for Stephanie Huggins, who is the one that left injured. So hopefully she is okay. She's getting attended to by the training staff. Foul is called on Tara Hastings, as that's her second foul. It's going to be the team's fourth. And going to the line is Alicia Markley.
Markley's the best free throw shooter on the Stars team, coming in at 76%.
Markley, a perfect 3 for 3 on the day, looking to go 4 for 4. And she does. Stars up 56-47 with 3 minutes remaining in the fourth. Cougars need to find baskets quick in order to stay in this game. You see Tara Hastings swings it around to Jaylene Wade, who's dribbling and blocked by Ray, swings it back to Hastings. And the Cougars with a 3 by Ray. Yes! A much-needed 3 by Annika Ray to get the Cougars going again.
She hesitated. I was about to jump off from our broadcast booth and tell her to shoot it.
Hannah Curran in there, but met by Core and blocked. But she's going to get a foul called, and Core is going to pick up her fourth.
Core was about a half step late at getting there in time.
So going now to the line is number 21, Hannah Curran. Curran is a 57% free throw shooter on the year. Makes the first. Makes the second and extends the lead to 8.
Just a casual career high 29 on 12 of 17 shooting.
No big deal.
Couldn't ask for anything more from her.
But you can see just the Stars being able to adapt to her game and making everything go into the post rather than taking the shots that we usually see.
CUC has not done a good job of changing up their game plan. Somebody like her.
So ball is loosely scrum around, and Markley reveals away with it, and Hastings comes in, but a foul is called, and she is not happy about it. Foul came late there from the official.
Coach Martin is absolutely up in arms on the CUC bench.
And there is definitely chatter in Geiseman with a disagreement in that call as Hastings now picks up her third.
She's still working the far side official.
Markley at the line. She misses. This could be a turning point if you're the Cougars, as most of the players are now feeling a little bit more energized. And Markley sinks her second, now 5 of 6 in the game.
Hannah Curran can get to 30 points. It'd be the first 30-point performance of the season for the Stars.
Hastings, who's been quiet all night, throws it up, and she is fouled by Hoskins. And Hoskins is going to pick up her second.
That's a quick, aggressive first step for Hastings that can become very dangerous. You hope that's not a little too late when she decided to start getting to that part of her game.
Hastings sinks the first free throw. She's now 2 of 3 on the day, but one thing that we're looking at, too, is she's 0 for 3 from behind the arc.
She hasn't gotten very good looks. If you're going down the stretch here, and I think if Coach Martin's talking in this timeout, obviously you got to go play defense on the other end of the floor, but you're trying to get something open for Ray or trying to get Hastings going to the hoop with 2 minutes to go.
Cougars are able to close the gap to 7. 30-second timeout taken by Coach Martin and the Cougars. 59-52. The Stars lead with 2:05 left. Looking for a place to relax following a big Cougar win? Doc Ryan's on Madison Street has all your post-game needs covered. So, CJ, we've seen a little bit of life strike the Cougars in the